Welcome to Stand Up for Doctors. I'm your host, Kim Downey. Thank you very much for joining us. This channel is dedicated to amplifying the voices of doctors, other healthcare professionals, and patients as they share their unique struggles, triumphs, and passions. My mission is to build connection and create advocacy for healthy doctors, driving positive change that benefits both doctors and patients. This is a space for everyone who cares about the future of healthcare. If you appreciate this content, please like and subscribe now. It really helps the episodes reach our target audience. And today I would like to welcome Dr. Derrick Alger and Kylie Alger. Thanks for joining us today, Derrick and Kylie.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here. I feel like we've had this marked on our calendar for a while, and then all of a sudden we're like, here it is. This is great. We're
We've been
ready to
counting
go.
down.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it was a few months ago. And
Yeah.
one reason I'm super excited is this is the first time I'm having a husband and wife on together. So
Oh,
I
That's
have
good.
had a couple of people on who were physicians, and then at other times had on their non-physician spouses. But this is the first one together. So here, you're
Here we go.
trailblazers.
All right. All right. There we go.
So I'll have you introduce yourselves by way of a very brief introduction. Dr. Derrick Alger is a husband, father, physician, hospitalist, founder of Connect Huddles, and advocate for physician well-being. And Kylie Alger is a wife, mom, advocate for physician well-being and burnout prevention, co-founder of Connect Huddles, and co-founder of happygram.org. And I believe that was how we connected initially too, because I think you saw in my tagline or I saw it on yours, like advocate for physician well-being. And I'm like, what? Who else says that? So that was how we connected. And today we're going to be talking about Connect Huddles, what it's all about. And thank you for sending me this workbook. It's excellent. So, what would you most like our audience to know about you as we begin our conversation? Feel free to include hobbies, whatever you want, and both of you can introduce yourselves.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll go first. So I'm uh, from here in Iowa. We're both very local. I was a nurse for 5 years and then went back to med school, and then did my residency here in Iowa and now family medicine. And now I'm a full-time hospitalist. And this is just something Kylie's been writing for the paper for, it'll be 15 years in November that we kind of came up with, and we can tell you that story in a little bit. But it was just something that was never supposed to be anything big, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's get this out and get people talking about it. So it's been kind of a passion project of ours here.
I love it.
yeah. And I'm Kylie, and we have 4 young children. The ages right now are 2, 4, 6, and 8, so really easy to remember. And
The pictures, all the
yeah,
Yeah, they're
and it's just
beautiful.
oh, thank you. It's just been really fun to be with them, and I, like Derek said, been writing for our local paper for 15 years. My mom and I do that together, and it started out as a fitness column, and it's really transformed into my editor lets me talk about forgiveness or ways we can take care of ourselves in mind, body, and spirit. So I feel very honored that I get to share with my community all the different ways that I feel like we can be well in mind, body, and spirit.
yeah.
Well, I think that's beautiful, and I would like you to share a story, which is your why for doing this, and also maybe you could spotlight your t-shirts.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
So that we'll have to do a two-part.
yeah,
This was a fun one. It actually came from a family vacation, but
yeah.
the whole genesis behind Quick Connect Huddles was I was working as a hospitalist. I had graduated residency during the pandemic, so we almost didn't even have a ceremony. There's a lot of residents, and I started my kind of attending hood right in 2020, July of 2020. So it was kind of full up pandemic time. And that was pretty challenging for us. We were, a young family, pregnant with our third at the time.
Yeah.
And, just everything that we were seeing, and it made it really challenging. So I was at work, and my chief at the time, who was just a wonderful leader, Dr. Boston was his name, knew that Kylie wrote for the paper. He would always bring in, her articles and be like, I read her article today. And he's told me one day, kind of told me is what I say. He said, you're going to do it, but I want you to volunteer to do it. I want you to want to do it. So I want you to start a wellness committee and really try and get something so our team can connect and work on our resiliency or our well-being during this really challenging time. And I had no idea what I was going to do. And Kylie had just written an article for the paper, and we were sitting upstairs after the kids went to bed. And I'm like, man, I just feel maxed out. And she had just written an article on surge capacity, what it means to hit your surge capacity, things you can do to kind of recharge your battery. And I said, you know what? This would be really good for our group right now to go ahead and learn about this, at least start talking about it, because I think we're all feeling something similar, but we're not all sitting and talking. We're just trying to get through our day. So we took Kylie's article, and I said, let's just come up with a couple of questions then after we read the article to talk to each other about. And that was kind of the first huddle we did. Everybody was talking, realizing we all felt the same way, changing and showering at work or having a certain drop area in your garage so that way you would, early in the pandemic, you just didn't know.
Right.
So we were changing clothes in the garage and not wanting to hug or touch our kids until afterwards. And you're learning there's a lot of other people going through similar things at that time, especially in medicine. We just didn't know. And just doing the best we could. And it went really well. The first huddle went really well, and we shared a lot. Everybody kind of connected in a meaningful way. And then they said, hey, let's do this again. Let's get people talking and sharing. So we kind of built on that. We do regular huddles and kind of take Kylie's articles, and then her and I would talk about questions and then present it. And that's how this kind of started. And then we had a larger committee within my hospital start, and I realized, like, hey, when I started looking more into the well-being, I said, there's just nothing that is regular, structured kind of content out here for people to kind of build upon. I said, we need to do something about this. We need to get people talking to each other and connecting in a meaningful way. And I said, I think we need to get this in the hands of as many people as we can.
He came home one day and he was like, this is working so well for my hospitalist group. Like, people are connecting in a way that I've never seen. He's like, we got to get this for every hospital. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Let's just make it like a workbook form that we can just, give it to people and have it be easy. Because when we talk with other people who are in the well-being space, they're saying that the irony of it is that trying to come up with well-being content is not good for their own well-being, because it's like one more thing for them to do.
Yeah.
And so we want to help them and be like, hey, here's your January content, here's your October content, here's all you need to do. It's everything. It's the same. Read an article, reflect on your personal wellness, and then connect together in a group. And the connection piece is what Derrick and his colleagues have found to be so powerful.
Yeah, it's really been cool to talk with people in a different way than you normally would at work. And it's something that I think is so important to help build not just the connections outside of work, but trying to, what we describe now as being well at work. Building that connection piece among your colleagues, kind of helping you get more of a safety net, more of a connection. So that way when you are having a bad day, you feel like you can reach out to somebody and talk to somebody about it. Somebody's there to listen to you. Because sometimes nobody knows what it's like to be a provider, except for other providers sometimes know the pressures and the struggles and sometimes the weight you might be carrying. And sometimes it's just good to hear another provider say, I totally get that. I understand. That sounds like a really hard day. And sometimes that's all you need. But if we're not talking to each other, then nobody's going to be able to say that. And we really just want to get people connected and talking. And we found that through content and stories and reflections and the connection at the end, that's been a way we can try and help promote that among people, especially as physicians, providers, APPs. We do not tend to be as open with each other. We carry a lot of the weight inside, and that's really hard to do. So having these groups and doing these things have been really beneficial for me personally, and I hope for everybody who's done it so far.
Yeah, all of that is so important. And I've heard so many doctors say, I thought I was the only one. And you're like, oh my gosh. So, like, everyone was walking around struggling, and some still are thinking they're the only one. Like, everyone hasn't heard these messages yet, right? So, I feel like every single conversation we have, hopefully, we can just get the message out to a broader and broader audience. So, also, so patients will know the things physicians are struggling with, and it humanizes doctors. And every time a doctor shares their story, another doctor feels less alone. And I don't remember, did I connect you with Dr. Stephen Palanchuk? He's in Canada.
Oh,
Oh,
that'd be
Uh,
great.
that'd be
okay,
great. Yeah.
afterwards I
Mhm.
will, because he started this. Well, something similar. It's not a workbook, but in his own hospital, where once a week or once a month, I think I don't remember if it was once a week or once a month. I'll have to look at my notes. But probably once a month, he takes one day and does it three shifts, so it fills up all the nursing shifts, right? So they can all come. So doctors and nurses get together and kind of have a powwow and talk about anything. So it also, because there's also sometimes
I love
issues
that.
even
Yeah.
with physician nurse communication, right? And I've had on
Yeah.
a nurse who's written a couple books about physician nurse communication. So here it's doctors and nurses, right? Just sharing struggles, challenges, but the good and the bad, right? It could be good things, but just to have those conversations that used to have time to happen naturally and don't anymore, through all of the
Mhm.
pressures and extra burdens that, physicians and other practitioners are facing today. And the other one, if I haven't connected you, Simon Craig, he's in Australia.
Oh,
So
that'd
I
be great.
can't quite
Yeah.
reach it, but hang on.
Oh,
He
this is
just came
great.
Yeah.
out with Brave Talks reflection cards for healthcare. So
Oh,
he's
Oh,
I
a
love that.
healthcare leader,
wow.
and they have everything from like just simple. This isn't exactly, well, I can pull one out, like really simple questions to get started. Like, let's see, what's an activity that you would love to try but always make excuses to avoid?
Oh,
So there are
that's
some ones that
great.
are like really easy that anyone could feel like comfortable answering. And then it can get more serious because they even have different colors, the cards. How do you deal with patient outcomes that are not what you hope for? So just having these powerful conversations. So actually, I'm interviewing him next with
Oh,
Dr. Sam
wonderful. That's
Kozen.
great.
So the episode following this one will be his. So there will be wonderful dovetails. So I will have to connect you.
Yeah, I
And
love that.
Awesome.
yeah, so when I was looking through your book, and I love it because it's so well written, and but easy to read enough that it doesn't feel like, oh my God, right? Or like an article or
Right.
research article. And I love it how you each share some very personal stories in here that make it relatable, and how it's related to like the seasons and the months. So if you want to go into like a little more detail about what this workbook actually is and does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe share the flamingo story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like you said, each month has kind of a different theme or a different topic that
Mhm.
we felt was really important. There's forgiveness, there's gratitude, there's vibrancy, which is the flamingo. But each month
Oh,
we
the
start
flamingo.
with, yes, there it is. See the flamingo.
Yay.
And self care. And each month we started with something kind of a specific topic, like um, this October is imposter syndrome, talking about masks and Halloween. But we wanted it to be something where people could pick it up, start any month, anytime, have a meaningful topic that's kind of relatable to healthcare. Um, and then, what I think what you're mentioning at the end is that, yeah, we have the reflection questions, which is really great. We did some of that. The Mayo Clinic book on burnout had these commensality groups that they would share. They would sit down, and the study was they gave physicians an hour of free time and an hour outside of work connecting and sharing and talking through reflection questions. And they found that 6 months after the intervention was done, both people had improved scores in well-being, whether you got free time or you were sharing, connecting with colleagues. But after the study, the people who got free time felt burnout quicker than the people who were in the commensality groups. And that's what really kind of cemented for us the importance of these these huddles and these questions and those awesome talk cards. We're gonna have to get some of those because I'd love to see the
Yes,
questions you're
yeah.
doing.
I'll
Um,
connect you.
yeah, that's great. But yeah, we want this to be something where people could pick up anytime, hear a story, and then at the end of it, there's a note from me at the end. And the reason I did that is because the last thing you want to do is have a group get together, sit down, present something, and then just hear crickets. Just hear nothing at all.
Right.
So the note from me is meant to be a kind of a little step in that vulnerability of, hey, I see you. I've been here. This is what I struggle with. And just to get that conversation ball hopefully rolling, because we want people to be able to take this book and not only have any month that you can open up to, have something done so it's not another kind of, voluntold experience. It's like, hey, we've got this. Will you lead it, please? And it's really easy to do. Um, but that's why we want people to open up and be able to be kind of vulnerable with each other. So that's why we designed it the way we did, to get people talking and connecting. And I think there's just some great articles in there from you and your mom, and lots of personal stories and things that I've struggled with as a new attending, as hospitalist, balancing being a father and a husband and physician, all of those things. So just trying to get people to see it and use it in a meaningful way to get those conversations started.
Yeah, when we say article, they are very personal, very relatable, very easy to read. They're beautiful. And when you mentioned that study, the one thing that's so important that I believe you did say was that clinicians were given an hour to do this, right? That they're given the time. So what's really critical is leadership buy-in.
Yes.
And you can have this thing, but if the leaders don't give time to do it, if you try to expect people to do it on their own time, then it's just one more thing to do, or it would be a burden. But if they could take time at work to do it, then it's part of like the team building. But then they realize that their leaders appreciate and respect how important the time is for connection and sharing is.
Yeah, and we
Absolutely.
found nothing works better than a free lunch.
And
We
Yeah.
so we with my group, they actually provide it's kind of a mandatory time, but it's also provided food. So everybody's going to sit down, get something to eat. We're all there, and after we've been doing this now over a year, everybody kind of knows what to expect with the format, which is great. That's why we designed it that way.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, we've had people hang articles on their lockers that really meant a lot to them. There's an activity at the end if you have extra time or you want to do something more team building. And it's really been kind of fun to do that. So, like, one of the activities is actually a coloring page, which is the flamingo one.
Yes.
And the first time I did that, I got a lot of eye rolls coming in, bringing in crayons, and these two, we print them off at home. There's two flamingos, one on each side. There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
And after we talked about the vibrancy, we had people color one flamingo the color they're feeling now, and then color the other flamingo the color they want to be, how vibrant. And they were all kind of laughing, but within about 5 minutes, there was a lot of silence and a lot of coloring, and a lot of people kind of started to get into it. And you're like, oh, this is actually something that's important. Why would one person put a really bright pink, vibrant kind of head area and kind of a dull body? And it's like, well, I use my mind every day at work,
Right.
but I'm not taking care of my body, And the whole story behind the flamingos is something we did on vacation.
Yeah, we were at the Wisconsin Zoo with our kids, and we saw all these flamingos at the zoo, and it was like I was thinking I was just gonna see a bunch of pink, but it's like dark pink, light pink, white flamingos, and I was like, what is going on? And there was a plaque by the flamingos that was saying the healthier a flamingo is, the brighter pink it is. When a flamingo is caring for others, especially they're young, they are going to be, a lighter pink. And you guys are caring for people all the time. And so we're like, how can we get your pink back and, be able to have that vibrant, body, mind, and spirit. So that's a whole.
That was the whole huddle. And everybody, first of all, I didn't know that about flamingos.
Right.
So everybody
no
got to
idea.
love that. But then that's where the shirts came from.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like a reminder to take care of yourself. I want all my friends, see me as this bright pink flamingo, hopefully taking
Mhm.
care of myself and others. And but we're not always like that, and that's okay. I know it's okay to be like that, but um, just acknowledging that and helping others, even asking those questions. Well, how would you be more of a vibrant pink flamingo? What can you do to do that? Those are the kinds of things we delve into in the workbook. And the nice thing is we included a page for notes and journaling at the end, because then after you do it for a year, just these scheduled, pre-made, ready to go things, if you take the time to just jot a note to yourself at the end, you have kind of a year in review of like, oh, I
Mhm.
was having a really hard November, or
Mhm.
July was pretty good. Oh, I remember I did this, and it's a nice way to actually hold on to something and look back and be like, man, this is the point I was at, especially as we grow and mature in our careers and our
Mhm.
journey through life. So it's been
Yeah.
fun.
That's great. And I love it that you have a facilitator's guide. So if you're sharing this with other hospitals that you're not at, that you can make this replicable for, is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Something
Yep.
like
you bet.
that, right? For other people. Very, and it's just like, is in a way simple and easy and basic and profound all at the same time, right? And then I don't remember, I told you I'm hosting a physician retreat the fall of 2026 here
Oh,
in New York, and we're going to incorporate things like music and art and all of those things that get you into your body. So speaking to that coloring page, right, that at first it might be silly, like, oh, you're giving me crayons, I'm going to color a flamingo, but just all the things that'll come up when people actually pick up the crayon, right? Like you have some people that might do multicolors and say, well, I'm multifaceted, right? Or if the
Yeah.
one on the left is one side how you are and the other one how you want to be, one might be blank, right? A part of it, because they might say, I don't even know how I feel, but I want to feel like that, right? There can be so much to that. So I really love the whole thing.
Yeah, and
oh,
that's what it's
thanks.
meant to
Yeah.
do is get those questions rolling, get people talking about those things. I mean, we just want people to connect in a good way.
Yeah, and then after a year, so does your hospital does each person buy the book, or does your hospital buy it for everyone who participates? And then after a year, do they get a new one and you kind of start all over, or how is it working now that you're into the second year?
Yeah, so right now a lot of our stuff is just year by year. We're actually working on the year two, because we're just really kind of new to the whole scene. So it's just a year by year kind of a subscription type thing. We're actually just getting ready to roll out our kind of digital PDF version, because the workbook is nice, but we found that some hospitals or residency programs have people that come in and out, so they want the ability to kind of either print more copies or less copies if everybody can't have a dedicated book. So yeah, it's a year by year kind of thing. What we've done is my group has been kind of the pilot for everything. So everything we've come out with has been run through my group, and whether good or bad, or if they like it or what they think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a yearly kind of you get it and you get the year's worth of content, and then you'd renew it every year.
Mm-hmm. And now, if your organization is going into the second year, did you kind of circle back because there might be different players and do the same thing, or did you say you're in the process of like month by month creating new content for a second year?
Yeah, we're gonna have a
Yep, new
new
content.
content for
Okay.
volume
Yep,
two. Yeah.
yep.
But that's a
Okay.
great question to ask. One of the things that we like to go back to is the one word huddle. And we actually have that for free. If anyone wants to check it out, they can email us and we'll give them the one word huddle to try with their group to see if they
Yeah.
like it. And so that's something that we would say to do every year with your group. So that would be one that you're talking
Circling
about.
back
Yeah,
with
circle
every
back
year.
with. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. I know, right? Because each year, like your word of the year, and it's interesting because our church did that, and in January they had a basket of stars with the words on it, and you could pick one, and you even specifically share. You could put it in the star, cut out the star, right? You even have that,
Yeah.
right? As word of the year. So, I mean, I could so relate, and then you even give if people are totally stumped, right? I think you even give some suggestions of words to start to, prompt or spark their thinking on that. And you also mentioned Mark Sanborn. the author,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
I've referenced the Fred factor. I don't know if you're familiar with that book, but that's
Mhm.
where he talks about Fred was his mailman and how no matter what your role is, like whether you're the janitor or the CEO, like
Oh, I have to
everyone
agree.
can make a difference, right? And he
Yeah.
talks about how incredible his mailman was and the extra steps that his
Wow.
mailman, and I've actually written a little piece for our church. We have a Lenten devotional about Jacrudy. She works at ShopRite and she's been checking out, you're checking, me out with my groceries for years now. But every time she's like, hello, friend, how are you?
Oh,
And it just so happened, of course, through the pandemic. And, I had the three cancers and all the surgeries and she'd see me every week. So before I had the first one, I says, well, I won't be around for a week or so. I'm having surgery, right? And then she saw the tape on my neck, wanted to know how. So she kind of went through like my journeys too. And I'm like, oh, you're not
Yeah.
going to believe this. I have cancer again. Oh, you're not going to believe this. I have cancer.
oh,
But she always asked. And then even like people that work in a grocery store couldn't stay home during the pandemic, right? Some were remote. So them fearing, if you remember all the things with the
oh yeah.
arrows and or even like if like the people behind you, like how you were trying to stay 6 feet away from the next aisle and putting up the plastic shields. So even though she was probably fearful for her own safety, that she still was just a kind, reassuring presence because some people were afraid to go to the grocery store and some
Yeah.
people stopped going to the grocery store. But her line is always way longer than anybody else's because sometimes I'll do a self checkout and then go say hi at the end. I'm like,
Oh
I
my
didn't have time
Yeah.
to stand in your line because it's that moment for connection
Yeah.
and
God.
that
So important.
anyone can do that, you know?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, and
We,
then
Absolutely.
I also you referenced about doing the most important task first, and just do it. And
yeah,
that
Yeah.
made me
in
think of there's
June.
this
Yeah.
thing called Eat the Frog. I don't
Yes,
Oh,
that's right.
yeah.
Oh, that's a great book. Yeah.
Yep. And that's, I mean, some of those, like we said, each one tries to have kind of a lesson behind it as
Mhm.
well. So even if you have somebody who goes and maybe it's their first huddle or they're not super, hopefully they leave with something like, oh, I'm going to do that hard thing first. Or,
Mhm.
I'm going to leave with this one word intention and really work on that. Or here's something I think to make myself shine a little brighter, like our
Mhm.
September super blue moon. It's just like,
And it's that sharing of goals
yeah,
too, right? It's a connection point. So if you see that person in the elevator, hey, how's that journaling going? Or hey, how's that
Mhm.
exercise that you talked
Right.
about going? So
yeah,
it's just one more way to connect. And that's why we really focus on the one word at the beginning because it's such
Uh-huh.
an easy thing to get to know someone so quickly. So Derrick had a really amazing experience with doing the one word earlier this year. Do you want to share that?
yeah. So we did the one word huddle that we
Mhm.
had there, and we had stars, and we had gone through and done the questions, and then we were going around sharing our words, and somebody had brought up that their word was balance, and just asked, "Hey, would you mind saying what's going on?" We all, and you found out that one of our colleagues had been helping care for their loved ones, their elderly loved ones, for
Mhm.
quite some time, in home and full time. It was like another full time job for them.
Right.
And here I'd worked side by side with this person and not even known that. And it's
Mhm.
like, oh, well, now when you're having a shift, I'm going to ask, hey, how everything going okay? Everything going all right? Because I understand that there's something more than what I see here behind, behind who you are at work. There's so much more
Mhm.
behind that too. Uh,
Mhm.
just with sharing the one word, we've had one person say their word was going to be, connection. And they
Mhm.
challenged all of us. I challenge you to connect with a patient in a meaningful way this week. And then
Mhm.
later on, a couple months later, they threw a big party. And I mean, lots of people went, and it's like, oh, connection. Yes, you're living your word. That is so cool.
I
You know?
love that so much, and I bet some of the things can even lead to like inside jokes and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. There's
absolutely.
that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
it's all of it. And I know we're going to be running out of time soon, but
Oh,
Kylie,
God.
also you mentioned in your book about your happy grams. Now, you do you know what about Dawn Veselka and Cards to Warriors?
No, that sounds
Oh,
amazing
okay.
though.
So she's another person I'll have to connect you with. So I've had her on too. So would you like to very briefly tell us about also your happy grams?
Yeah, definitely. So this is a big idea that my dad had. He was with my Opa. They were at the hot tub in the senior living community, and they looked up and they saw a bunch of, people going, older people going to check their mail and not getting a lot of mail, and really kind of, the greatest generation. That's how they kept in contact, was through mail and written letter. And so my dad was like, I know there's got to be a way that we can get young people to send their grandparents mail by texting it to them or sending them a message. So we came up with a website called happygram.org, and it's an easy way for young people to send handwritten letters to their loved ones in senior living communities. And it's just by a website. The secretary prints it off and then delivers it to the people living in the homes. And we've had, birth announcements, engagement announcements, people doing vacations and wanting to send their loved one a picture on vacation. So it's been a really powerful way. We've sent over 100,000 happy grams so far. So it's very close to our heart. And now our kids are doing it with their school. So the students, the third grade students and the first grade students, are sending Valentine's Day cards and Christmas cards to maybe some people who are lonely in senior homes.
Yeah.
Well, I love it so much because the Cards to Warriors, Don has a child with special needs, medical needs, and they went through some hard times and they realized that it's such a boost when somebody sends you a card. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
started Cards to Warriors because whether you're a healthcare warrior struggling with something or you're a caregiver, they have artists that donate their time to design the cards, and then you can sign up or nominate somebody, and every so often you just get a card. So when I connected, I had her on with Dr. Erin Hurley. Dawn is in Florida, Erin is out west. And then we did a cards to medical warriors for Doctor's Day, and they designed a special card where people could send a doctor or someone, and then Dawn took off with that and put them on those carts in the hospital that hands out little like combs or shampoos or crayons, so then people in the moment could write a thank you to a healthcare worker
I
who made
love
a
that.
difference in their life. So you two would have a great conversation as well. So we'll have to see where this goes because I think this would be incredible. Like the culture of medicine has to change starting in med school. So if this could be, like you're saying, available at med schools, residency
Yep.
programs, this would be invaluable. So as we wind down, is there any parting words you would like to share, each of you, with our audience?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that, our family cares about connection so much already. As you can tell, Happy Gram is about connecting generations. Quick Connect Huddles is about connecting colleagues. So I just, my words for people in medicine right now is don't be afraid to be the one to start the connection. Don't be afraid to let your light shine brightly because when your light shines brightly, it's going to give other people permission to shine bright too. So just be your authentic self and don't be afraid to connect in a meaningful way with people. You're going to be surprised what you get out of that and how much that's going to kind of spread your light and the good intentions around where you're working. So
I love that.
and at home,
Yeah.
everywhere.
I love that. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's not only for your colleagues, but it's also for the patients. They've had an increased score of patient satisfaction go up after they've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool to see not only are you sharing a bright light with your colleagues, but patient or doctors who are well and healthcare workers who are well will also bring that same light to their patients.
Yeah,
So
it's been really cool.
Yeah,
It's just
that's go ahead.
so I mean, it's just so fun. It's so
it's
fun to
so
connect
fun.
with people
Yes.
and do those things and connect with your patients. And
Mhm.
we really work on the communication is something. So, like
Mhm.
she said, our communication scores have improved, and that's been
Mhm.
great. So it's just better all the way around. And connecting with people online or through, whatever it is just a wonderful thing we're learning. Just be open to it. So,
Yes, exactly. And I like the way you should. So the culture of medicine has to change. The system has to change. That's not going to happen overnight. And in the meantime, if each individual resources themselves, does things like this and is willing to be a little vulnerable, share themselves, and make that connection, things could be better now, right? And we're seeing that.
yeah, they could be better now, but also think about how much stronger we're going to be if we're all connected in a meaningful way.
A
Mhm.
hundred
With
percent.
that system. It's
Mhm.
like these are not just pebbles in one person's shoe.
You're
These
right.
are big problems, and we are here together because we're talking about it together. And I
Mhm.
think we're going to get more done that way too.
You're right. And my mission is to build connection and create advocacy for healthy doctors. So
Love it. Thank you
Yay!
so much for what you're doing.
Kim,
you're
you are talk about a bright light.
Yeah,
Kim,
awesome.
you are such a bright. I think I wrote on someone's LinkedIn. I'm like, the world needs more Kim Downies.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I love this conversation and I can't wait to publish it. And just thanks again for taking time out of your very busy schedules to
Oh,
be
no,
my
thank you.
guest.
Yeah.
Thank you
No,
so much,
thank you
Kim.
so much. We enjoyed it very, very much.
You're welcome. And in closing, to move the needle in healthcare, we all need to raise our voices and we all need to care about each other. We already know that doctors need to care about patients. Patients need to care about doctors too. So stand up, doctors, and let's stand up for doctors.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank